Hi, I'm Alan Reid from the Alan Reid Experience, and you're listening to Live Prog with Marcel Hasta.
Seize the day, relish every moment, make it something to remember. Has it ever happened to you that you got an album and, well, you had a certain expectation of it and it turned out to be totally different? It turned out to be something you had not expected, not seen coming, and a very intense experience. That is something that happened to me, and the words I just started with are from the final words of the last song on the album. Which album? This one. Battle Scars by Galahad.
Battle scars, 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 arrogance and egos, arrogance and egos, arrogance and egos, arrogance and egos.
I have to start off with a little bit of a confession. Although I was aware of the fact that there was a band called Galahad for many years, I mean they were founded in 1985, for some reason I never, well, had the opportunity to listen to their music. So when they announced that they were releasing a new album, I was very interested and I thought this would be a very good opportunity, well, to finally get to know this band. And of course I had some expectations that it would be a great prog album, but when I got this album and I started listening to it, I must say I found that it had a very deep effect on me, a very deep impact. It really touched me very much. Of course, there is a bit of a tragic story linked to this album, and that is the fact that the bass player of the band, Neil Pepper, passed away in September 2011. Well, after having fought a long and difficult battle against cancer. And despite his difficult, well, condition, he played all bass parts on this album. All of it was recorded by him, despite the fact that it was not easy for him. And I gotta say, I have a lot of respect for him. He also composed the music for 3 of the songs on the album, and I gotta say, he leaves a very impressive legacy with that. He will be remembered forever through this music, and not just this album, but of course all the albums and all the things he performed on. But for me, this was the first time I heard Galahad, and I gotta say, when I listened to this album, initially, you know, you just listen to the album and it's like, yeah, this is really nice, but then you start to listen more, and you start to realize what a brilliant album this is, what a high quality album this is. From start to finish, there is not a weak moment to be found on this album. I'm really impressed by it. It starts when you listen to the opening track, Battle Scars, the title track. It's catchy, it has a very catchy chorus line, but the melodies are very beautiful. One of the other things I did when listening to the album is that after a few spins, listening to the overall sound, I started to listen to the various musicians and the various instruments that were used on this album. And then when I listened, especially of course to the bass parts, I really felt that it stood out. The warm bass line together with drummer Spencer Luckman, they formed not only the backbone of the album, but also the heartbeat. Just listen to the songs and you will hear the heartbeat throughout the rhythm section.
It's a race against time, but the view is sublime, and I didn't expect to be so content.
Then the guitars, especially in the track Singularity. I gotta say, well, I don't have a favorite track, but I gotta say Singularity is one that I particularly very much like. The guitar parts in that are really amazing. They're different than, well, what I normally hear or what I would have expected, but very beautiful. And throughout the whole album, I very much like the guitar sound. It's very solid, it's very rocky, and very melodic as well. What I also like about this album and like about the band Galahad is the fact that they are not afraid to, well, maybe experiment with things or add elements that you would not expect in a progressive rock album, like dance and trance influences. Now, the words, I mentioned at the beginning of this review come from the last track of the album called Seize the Day. And if you listen especially to that track, you hear how they put in those dance and trance influences in the keyboards, the ambient sounds, and well, believe it or not, it works fantastic. It sounds amazing, and well, this makes this album stand out very much. I gotta say, from all the albums I heard this year, this album impressed me the very most. I heard a lot of great albums and I love them all, but for me, this album stands out. It is a beautiful album. It has high quality songs, very enjoyable to listen to, very emotionally charged, and well, of course, if you know, understand the history that went into making this album and the fact that it was supposed to be released last year. It's released in 2012. Well, the reason why is obvious, but those feelings are on this album and you can feel them when you listen to it. And that makes listening to Battle Scars a very intense and emotional experience. Person that I think is very important to, well, for me, the reason why I love this album so much. Stu Nicholson, the vocalist. What an amazing singer he is. What a beautiful voice to listen to. I really love to hear him sing on this album. It's together with his bandmates, who create the music. It's for me a unity that, well, I have no words for. It's really beautiful. That's the only word I have to describe it. And a beautiful album, of course, needs a beautiful package. Now, I'm holding it in my hand for a while and bring it a little closer again. Here you have the album cover, which, well, of course, a picture says more than 1,000 words, and I think this conveys the idea that the album, the feelings that the album has very much. What's interesting about the album is that originally the album lasts about 45 minutes. There's a vinyl edition available as well, so it fits rather good. But as you may have noticed at the bottom right here, it says bonus track, Sleepers 2012. The band released an album called Sleepers in 1995, but well, apparently they were not entirely happy with how the track Sleepers turned out, so they thought it would be a good opportunity well, to do that track all over again. That's why it's featured on this album. I gotta say, I'm not familiar with the original, but I absolutely enjoy their new version. It's really beautiful. I love the orchestrations, I love the arrangements. A very beautiful track, and well, if I hadn't known, it would have fitted very nicely together with the rest of the songs. But I'm digressing. We were talking about the package. Well, let's take a look then. The beautiful artwork on this album was made by someone I have become to enjoy very much as an artist. I've seen a couple of really beautiful covers and some, well, rather stunning artwork already from him. Mr. Paul Tippett from Vitamin P. Well, he did that absolutely brilliant cover of Destroy All Monsters by Dec Burke. Also Paradigms and Storylines by Dec Burke. He also did the artwork on the latest Steve Thorne album, which was very beautiful, and also on the remastered Live at the Target album by 12th Night. If you see the artwork and you listen to the songs, you know, you really know that this is something special, and well, the artwork very much, well, brings out the mood of the song, and especially I love this one very much. Now, I left out one, and that's not artwork, but that's a photo, and this is truly an amazing photo from the band. Really a fantastic shot, and very happy that they included it in the artwork. I mentioned all the guys, but you know, just for completeness sake, the lineup. Roy Keyworth guitars, Stuart Nicholson vocals, Spencer Luckman drums, and Dean Baker keyboards, Neil Pepper bass, guitars and keyboards. So those are the guys that created this music. It has a tragic side to it. It has a very emotional charge to the whole, well, album. but it is really stunning, really impressive album. I love it very much. I can tell you I've been playing it over and over again, and I just can't get enough of it. I really can't, because it is, well, such a beautiful album, and it has so much to offer and so much to say. And I can, well, tell you that if you're gonna buy one album this year, buy Battle Scars by Galahad. You won't be disappointed. If you're not familiar with this band, this is an album you really must have.